I'm about to show you the exact strategy that took TetherTug from making $18,000 in a 6-month period to the next 6 months making $341,000. Let's dive right into it. So first I'm going to go over all the challenges that was inside of the account. Then I'm going to go into all the stuff that we implemented for them to make them an extra $341,000. And then I'm going to dive into all of the results for their accounts. So one of the first challenges that TetherTug was having was that their revenue was just way too low. As you can see, they did $67,000 in the month of September, but only $5,000 of that was coming in from email marketing, which anything under 15% is typically like the red zone, where your email marketing is just not working and you just need to rebuild everything from scratch. Now, the second challenge that TetherTug was facing was that they basically had no flow set up in their account. They basically set these up back in 2018 from somebody on like Fiverr or like Upwork, and they just left them there to collect dust. They didn't optimize them. There's no testing. They didn't even count email marketing as like a marketing channel for them before we came on. So the next challenge that TetherTug was actually having was that their deliverability was just in the hole. It was just not good at all. Emails were landing in spam. And the reason why this is so important is because if nobody is reading your emails and nobody is even opening them in the first place, then you're just not going to make any money off of your email marketing. So we actually had to go into the back end of their domain, fix all the deliverability, set up new records, just to make sure that we were actually landing in that primary inbox. So the next challenge that TetherTug was having was that they had something I like to call holiday campaign syndrome. This is basically when an e-commerce brand appears in your inbox only during the holidays to bring in some extra revenue, then disappears until the next holidays. I could bet that 90% of you watching this video kind of face this as well, just because the main reason why people face this problem is because they don't really believe in sending out value campaigns to your list, or they just don't have enough time to actually strategize their flows, write out all the campaigns, design them, and actually send them out to your list. So it's a completely normal thing that most e-commerce brands face, but it's just not an effective strategy if you actually want to make some money with your email marketing. So the last challenge that TetherTug had was that they had no pop-up live on their site, which means that they were just not growing their email list. Now, the way I like to think about an email list is like a gold mine. You want to have as much gold inside of this gold mine as much as possible, which means that you're going to be making the most money out of all of your competitors. So if we translate this back into an email list, you want to have as many people inside of your email list so you can send your campaigns to as many people as possible, and you're able to boost your revenue through your email list alone. One of the first things that we set up for TetherTug was their email flows. These are basically those automated emails that are sent out to people who engage with their website. So first, I want to go into why flows are actually important, and there are two main reasons why they're super important. One, they can increase your margins tremendously and effortlessly, because once you set these up once, they're basically evergreen flows that will run in the back end of your business forever. And second, they'll actually help your ads perform a lot better. So let's just dive into this graphic that I made to represent this a little bit better. We have two stores here, one with bad flows and one with good flows. The store with bad flows got 1,000 orders, let's say in the month of August, at $50 a sale, minus $10,000 for ads, and they were left with $40,000 in profit. Now, store B got an extra 200 orders in the month of August at $50 a sale, minus 10K in ads, and they're left with an extra 10K in profit. And the reason for this is because those email flows are able to retarget traffic that didn't convert from the paid ads and that didn't convert on the site. And retargeting this traffic through your email flows is actually a fraction of the cost from paid ads, and it generated an extra $10,000 for this example here. By retargeting all of your traffic that's coming in from paid ads, we'll be able to increase your conversion rate by 0.5 to 1.5%, your returning customer rate by 9 to 12%, and your average order value by $9 to $15. And I'll actually show you how we did this for TetherTug at the very end of this video. Now, here's the email flow strategy that we actually implemented for their brand. So at the very top, we have an opt-in pop-up, which is basically collecting their email address and their phone number, which we then put them inside of that welcome flow. Now, the whole point of this welcome flow is to build trust, nurture these first-time visitors, and actually get them to make that first purchase on your site. And we have about a 5 to 6 day nurture sequence here. Now, if they actually go onto your site, view your product, but they don't add it to cart or even purchase, we add them to the browse abandonment flow. This is basically us retargeting all of those window shoppers who are just trying to browse. Maybe they're viewing some of your competitors as well. We want to try and get them to come back to the site and actually add to cart at least. So they go a step down into the funnel. Now, let's say they actually add your product to their cart, but they just never complete their purchase. We add them to our abandoned cart sequence, which is a 4-day sequence where we're just reminding them about the items that they left in their cart, showing off some more social proof with reviews and testimonials, and providing an incentive so they can actually complete their purchase. Now, lastly, let's say they are first-time customers to your site. We want to put them in this post-purchase flow, which we are able to build some more trust with them, actually get them to use your product, and get them to make that second purchase on your site. Now, this is the exact flow system that we use for TetherTug, and the reason why it generated $266,000 within the last 6 months was because we were able to retarget all of their traffic, and we're able to increase those repeat orders and average order values with the incentives that we provided, and also with the emails that we are sending these people. Now, next, we focused on their deliverability. So once again, why is delivery important? Well, deliverability is actually the most important area in email marketing, which actually gets the most overlooked, because if you have low open rates, low click rates, potential higher bounce, unsubscribe, and spam complaint rates, then you are just 90% of the time just going to be landing in spam. So a combination of these metrics, if you have like low open rates and low click rates, for example, they're just going to negatively affect your deliverability and just make it harder for you to not land in that primary inbox. So to put simply, if nobody is reading your emails, then you're just not going to have any revenue generated from your email marketing. So how do we actually fix their deliverability? One is cleaning out their list. So what does this actually mean? Well, on your email list, there is a group of people who are just not engaging with any of your emails. So we set up a segment basically saying that people who have received an email 5 times over all time of them being on your list, and they haven't opened or clicked on an email at all. So basically, these are just people that are on your email list. You're basically paying for them from Klaviyo because you actually get charged per active profile on your account. You're paying for these people and they're just not engaging or making you any money. So we're going to clean out those people and just remove them from our email list. Next is going to be setting up a dedicated sending domain. So this is actually going to the back end of their domain, setting up those DNS records and make sure that we're actually sending from our core domain and we're not sending from the Klaviyo servers. And next was actually segmenting out their audience. So for each campaign, we had a certain audience that we would send this out to, whether that's engage 120, lapsed customers, new subscribers to the email list. We would send out personalized content to each one of them, which would just increase our open rates and click rates. So I have a full document in the description going over how we set up each one of these for their account, which you can go in and actually set it up for yourself. Now, the next step that we took was actually sending out those campaigns or those newsletters, those one-off sends to their email list. This is basically a great way to boost your revenue. But first, I want to go into why these campaigns are even important. So after working with e-commerce brands in the last 3 years, I've noticed that most of them focus on 3% of their list that are already going to buy. But regardless if they sent out an email to them, they were going to buy in the first place. So how can we engage the rest of the 97%? And the way that we can do this is with value. So we want to make customers feel more than just another sale. We want to make them feel a part of something bigger, feel part of like a community. And you're not just another person in our email list, you're actually part of our brand's family. We want to make them relate to your content and then they'll be ready to buy. So instead of us focusing on discount, sale, we want to focus on actually providing value to their life. And then we could also plug in our products through that. So here's the exact campaign sending strategy that we use for TetherTug. We had 10 campaigns per month. We had 2 sales/product promos per month, and then the rest were just 8 value-based campaigns. So we were sending out to the lapsed customers, the engage 120 segment, and then the 30-day subs. And majority of the emails were going into the engage 120 segment just because these are the most engaged people with your brand. They have opened your emails in the last 120 days. They have clicked on them, viewed your products, viewed your site, added to cart, even placed an order. These are the most engaged people on your site, which is the main reason why we want to send out emails to these people. Then we also have the lapsed customers. So these are people who have purchased on your site before, but they haven't purchased in the last 6 months. We want to retarget them back to your site. And then lastly, we have those 30-day subs. So these are brand new people to your email list. We want to nurture them a bit more and actually get them to make that first purchase on your site. Now you may be asking, what type of emails do you even send? So here's a list of 26 different content ideas that you could use for your brand. We use a combination of trust building emails, product focus, and just life tips. And these are the main value emails that I was talking about earlier. So for trust building, we would do something like us versus them, review email, common myths, objection handling, basically showing them why they should even trust us and how our products will actually help save their problems. Next is going to be product focus email. So it's going to be like product highlight, collection highlight, FAQs, product quizzes, product education, even bestsellers. And lastly, these are like the life tips or those value-based campaigns that I was talking about earlier. This actually takes a bit longer to come up with some content ideas, but with a little use of ChatGPT, it'll make your life a lot easier. So here are a few examples of what we do for some of our clients. We have like 5 tips for feeding your dog new food. Then we would plug in our dog food, obviously. For this hair care brand that we work with, we did this dry shampoo will add volume to your hair. Next is like how this pre-workout will give you a better pump. Now, as you can see, these are all different niches, but we're basically providing value and showing them how their life would be a lot better through our products. And that is the main focus that you want to have with these value-based campaigns. So the last step was actually setting up their email pop-ups. So going off the previous slide, most people actually just aren't ready to buy on your site when they're visiting for the first time. But I made this little graphic right here, which actually explains this a lot better. So we have your paid traffic right here. These people go to your website, and then from there, majority of them are just going to leave. But we're actually able to convert at least like 6 to 10% of them through our high converting pop-up, which allows us to retarget them through our email flows and our campaigns, which allows us to, get a 10x ROAS on them without us having to spend any more money on paid ads. So as soon as these people are inside of our list, we're able to retarget them until they unsubscribe, or if they're just not engaging, then we'll just remove them ourselves. So pop-ups are probably the most crucial part of your email marketing strategy because we're able to grow your email list and then from there, retarget everybody and just make some more money off of the people in your list. Now here are just a few pop-up examples. So here's the one that we made for TetherTug, which was very simple. It was just enjoy 10% off of your first order. They put in their email, they sign up, and here's just a little image from their website. And I also provided a few more as well. So here's that dry shampoo company that I was talking about earlier. Here, we just did 10% off. We're asking for their hair type, and then we also have an email. And then the next step would just be to get their phone number as well. Here's one for coat defense right here. So it's like get 10% off. And then we're asking them like, what topics are you most interested in, whether that's horses, dogs, or both. Here's a simple one from Bloom, which is just an email address and 15% off. And then here's also one I really like from Manscaped, which is basically saying like, what body parts can we help you groom? And then they have 3 options right here with their email. Now, these are just all of the designs. Now, I wanted to also go into the types of offers that you could do inside of your pop-up as well. So we often like to test 10% off, 15% off, free gift with purchase if that makes sense for your brand, early access to new products, or free shipping on your first order. Now, the ones that I've seen work best are the 10% off, 15% off, and the free gift with purchase, just because that gives your traffic a lot more of an incentive to actually sign up to your list. I would suggest to start testing with these 3 first, and then on the off chance that these don't work, then I would test some different offers as well. Now, finally, I'm going to get into the results. So one of the first things that we did for them was we had a 27% increase in email revenue within the first 2 months of working together. So as you can see, they went from 7% to 34%. And this was just remarkable growth for them, and not only boosted their financial stability, but we also just demonstrated the effectiveness of our strategic email marketing efforts. And the main reason why I highlight that is because when we first started working with TetherTug, they even mentioned to me that, hey, we've tried working with another agency in the past, and these are the results that we got. So we're not really expecting too much from this. We just want to try it out and see what it's like for Q4 of this year. And then within those 2 months, we absolutely just smashed it for them. And now email marketing is one of the highest drivers for their overall account. Now, next was that the returning customer rate was almost at 4 times in 6 months. So as you can see, they went from less than 83 people to over 350 returning customers per month on average. And that was all from those email flows and those email campaigns, or retargeting all of those customers to come back to the site. Next was increased conversion rates, returning customer rates once again, and their AOV. So they went from having a 1.45% conversion rate to a 2.49. The reason why this increase was from those email flows, because we're able to retarget a lot more of their traffic. Once again, their returning customer rate went from 8.98% to over double to 17.21%. And then lastly was their average order value went from $76 to $84 in just a quarter or 3 months time. Now, the last result, which I actually love the most for this entire case study, is that they went from being overstocked to sold out on their toy attachments. So one thing that we utilized heavily for their brand was their attachments, and we frequently incorporated these into the cross-sell and promotional campaigns, resulting in their stock just being completely sold out within those first 2 months. So I even got this message from David, which is the owner. He basically said that you're doing such a great job that we started running out of attachments. I'm having some builds out, but we'll need to back off the promos for those attachments until I get them back in stock. So you don't know how ecstatic I was from hearing this from David. I thought this was just a really cool result from our email marketing strategy. So that was the exact process of us taking TetherTug from 7% to over 30% coming from the email marketing. And if we really break it down, it only comes down to 4 things that we focused on. One was their pop-up, next was their deliverability, next was their email flows, and then their email campaign. So just by focusing on these 4 things for your e-commerce brand, I have no doubt in my mind that you'll see similar results to this. All it comes down to is just a little bit of consistency, and I have all of the documents to actually help you out with this. If you just click that first link in the description, you'll find all of the documents that I have, including this case study, which you'll be able to use and actually implement for your brand. Now, if you actually don't have the time to actually do this for your brand, I'm actually offering to build out all of your email flows for you for just a one-time setup. So there's no agency retainers, no long-term contracts, or any ongoing fees. It is just a one-time setup where I'll set up all of your email flows, your pop-up, and your deliverability for just a one-time payment. And if you're interested in that, you could book a call with me, which will be the second link in the description. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you found it informative.